Hello guys, welcome to today's video and to my channel. My name is Sophia Kiwi and today we are going to talk about what a trauma bond is in a relationship and how you can understand it actually is a trauma bond. So the signs of a trauma bond. So before we dive into the signs, I want to explain what the trauma bond is in case you don't know or you are unsure of what it means. A trauma bond can basically develop through intense emotional experiences, especially pain, manipulation, and abuse. It creates a psychological attachment between two people. It's often the result of cycles of abuse and reconciliation, where the highs feel euphoric, but the lows can be dangerously damaging. Over time, the victim becomes emotionally dependent on their abuser, which makes it very difficult to leave the relationship. Even if you feel that it's toxic and harmful, you still can't. The emotional ups and downs can start to feel addictive, leaving you trapped in a cycle of longing and hurt that looks like love, but isn't. Now let's move on to the signs you are in a trauma bond with someone. Also, don't forget to let me know in the comments down below what you think about this topic and if you ever have been in a trauma bond. Also, if you have any suggestions of what you want me to talk about in the next video, let me know that as well. So the first sign you are in a trauma bond is emotional roller coasters. Trauma bonds thrive on extreme emotional shifts. One moment you might feel cherished and loved and like the center of the universe, and the next you are on the receiving end of hurtful behavior. This unpredictability keeps you hooked as you constantly search for the next high in a cycle of emotional push and pull. Genuine love doesn't require this constant turbulence. It's steady, comforting, and secure. So remember that. The second sign that you actually are in a trauma bond is justifying bad behavior. A key indicator of a trauma bond is the tendency to rationalize or excuse your partner's hurtful behavior and actions. They didn't mean it, you say to yourself, or they're just going through a hard time at work, or they had this argument with their best friend. These are common thoughts in a cycle of abuse. You may even feel responsible for their actions or believe that you're the only one who can fix them. Guys, in general, as soon as you feel like you can fix your partner, that's generally not a good sign, honestly. Just a warning sign there. In healthy relationships, you're not made to feel like you are the cause of your partner's negativity, and you don't need to justify harmful actions, because in a healthy relationship, there will be no harmful actions, honestly guys, there will be no harmful actions. So the third sign you are in a trauma bond is inability to leave. So one of the most powerful hallmarks of a trauma bond is difficulty you experience when you try to leave the relationship. This sign is extra relevant for those of you who have been for some time in this relationship and you realize that something just doesn't feel quite right. You honestly, deep down in your heart, want to leave this person, but you still can't. Even when you recognize they are toxic, there is an overwhelming pull that keeps you tied to the person. You may feel as though you can't live without them or that you will never find love again. But here's what you should remember. Love doesn't trap you. It sets you free and lets you be the best version of yourself. You should always remember that. The fourth sign you are actually in a trauma bond is constantly defending the relationship. And here I mean constantly defending the relationship to others and sometimes going as far as defending the relationship to ourselves as well. When you are in a trauma bond, you may find yourself constantly defending your partner and the relationship to others, like family, colleagues, or anyone who stands close to you. Even when deep down you know things are not right. You might explain away their actions, making excuses for their behavior, or brush off their mistreatment because you feel like people will not understand. You may even feel protective of the abuser as if they are victims themselves, and you may make so many excuses for this, and so much of your energy will be spilled out on trying to find ways to explain this to yourself and to others, and you're trying to convince yourself that things are good when in fact they are not. So sign number 5, you are in a trauma bond, is you experience emotional numbness. In a trauma bond, emotional numbness often sets in as a way to protect yourself from overwhelming pain or fear that the relationship causes. Instead of feeling the intensity of your emotions, you may feel detached, like you are going through the emotions without truly engaging with your feelings. This emotional shutdown can sometimes be mistaken for calm or peace, that things are actually going good, but it's actually a defensive mechanism developed to cope with the chaos that the bond creates in your life. So sign number 6, you are in a trauma bond, is that your partner has control over every aspect of your life. In a trauma bond, your partner might subtly or overtly take control over your decisions, your finances, your social life, or even how you spend your time. You may find that they dictate where you go, who you talk to, how you dress, or isolate you from family members, from friends, from independent thoughts and actions. This control often masquerades from the abuser's side as caring and protectiveness, but actually it's ultimately a way to keep you emotionally dependent on them. And sometimes, as I said, not only emotionally, sometimes even financially. And you can be very dependent on someone in many, many ways. And if this someone is toxic, the situation becomes considerably worse. So the 7th and last sign I want to give you that you are in a trauma bond is you experience extreme guilt after setting boundaries. Now, this one, guys, has to be one of the worst, because setting healthy boundaries is a normal part of any relationship, a relationship with your friends, but also a romantic relationship. But in a trauma bond, you may feel extreme guilt or fear after attempting to set one. Your partner might react in ways that makes you question whether you have the right to have your own space or voice your needs. You may end up agreeing to things in order to avoid starting a conflict, even when your own well-being is at stake. So guys, this is probably the biggest sign, the just neon green sign that you are in a trauma bond and you need to get out of that situation. If you feel extreme guilt after telling your partner, now you can't do this to me, or like you cannot behave in this way, I feel hurt when you say these things or when you do these things. And it's especially bad if you have been through this situation before and you are bringing up the same problem with your partner again, or on the other hand, if you are not bringing up the problem, you realize it's the same problem that is reoccurring again, but you are not talking to your partner about it because you are just too afraid what they are going to do, or that they will leave you, or that they will become abusive, aggressive, anything bad reaction from them. You are just not deciding not to talk about something that is important to you because you are afraid of their reaction. That's, of course, a warning sign. So, final thoughts on this. Let's sum this up. What did we actually talk about? Trauma bonds are subtle and powerful, often masquerading as love, but they can have a lasting impact on your emotional and psychological well-being. You should recognize these signs because it's the first step towards healing and break free from the cycle of manipulation, pain, and dependency. If any of these signs resonates with you, it's important to seek support, whether through therapy, trusted friends, or online resources. I hope you found this video helpful, and let me know in the comments down below, what do you think? Because you deserve to be in a happy and healthy relationship. You deserve to have the energy to be able to go through your day without worrying what will happen later, or without worrying what will happen when you come home, or if you say a certain thing to your partner. You should not be worrying. You should be happy, secure, and healthy in your relationship. So guys, take care of yourselves, stay healthy, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Love you all. Bye.